Oh, what a phenomenal entry here. Hey, hello and welcome for everybody who watches this video. We have a great guest here. His name is Eric Moore. And thanks to our dear friends at Geva Drums, they brought him over. And Eric Moore is currently on tour with Eros Ramazzotti. He's touring all around Europe. And he's playing DW drums and hardware, Aquarian drum heads, dope drumsticks and Siljan cymbals. I don't know which in-ears he's using, but he can answer that later on. It's such an honor to have him here. I mean, it's an amazing drummer. But first of all, Eric, as I said, glad having you here in our online lesson studios. Can you give us an overview how the tour went so far with Eros?
Oh, man. Well, Eros Ramazzotti is amazing, and the tour is going amazing. We started off in Italy, and it's just been going all over the world so far. We've been everywhere. And 2019, and it ends in March of 2020. So it's been an amazing tour. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you played Suicidal Tendencies, now with Eros Ramazzotti. Of course, every time I watch videos of yours or appearances of you playing, you've got such a vast amount of vocabulary. How is it to play in a band like Eros Ramazzotti, where you normally wouldn't expect a drummer that can play so many notes, so to say? Well, how different is that for you to play that live?
It's very, very different, especially playing for an artist that's not from America and he doesn't speak English, and the music is all in Italian, so the music is totally different.
Yes.
But from besides that, it's all about being a musician and being able to play music from your heart. Like, that's something that I learned at a very, very young age, a very, very early age, playing with musicians. Being a musician is something that comes from the heart, not just having to be able to read it or just understand music as in a whole. So whether it's Suicidal Tendencies, Infectious Grooves, Bobby Brown, Eros Ramazzotti, whoever the artist may be, and the list goes on, to jazz music with Hadrian Farad or whoever you may think, Chick Corea. I'm on records with Chick Corea. I'm on records with Bootsy Collins. I'm on a new, it's so much stuff. So just being able to be a chameleon in any different musical setting is something that I challenge myself at, and I tell people to challenge themselves at the same time. Like, be more than just a drummer. Be a musician. Learn all different styles. Know this instrument. If you love this instrument and this is what you want to do, learn it and just be as great as you can.
And that you are a chameleon, you can definitely see that. I watched several videos of yours playing on your Instagram channel. What, by the way, your Instagram, how is it?
Yes, Eric Moore. _II. So yeah, ERICMOORE_II.
Okay, I watched several videos there, and one is like only 1 or 2 weeks old, and you've been playing like not a ballad but a simple pop groove, but you can tell you laid everything in that.
Yeah.
So of course in front of a huge audience. So how can you? What is the difference for you playing live compared to playing in a studio? Do you feel everything a little bit different, or do you perform more, so to say, if you're playing live?
I think that everything is in your approach and your touch, and what you do just always shows. Even in the studio, you can hear how that drummer took that approach to music, and all depending on the style of music. So if you're playing rock music or punk music, you want to be able to feel that adrenaline pumping, because when you listen to that track, you want to know that they put their all into it. So same thing goes for me in both areas, all depending on the music. But for the most part, I'm always going to put my all into it, just like what you just seen right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can also definitely see on those videos that you're always trying to connect with your other band members.
Oh, yes, definitely.
All around you, there's the bass player left side to you, and you've got such a good posture behind the set. Everybody is feeling the groove, even if you're only watching you from your face, so to say. It's, as I said, phenomenal. Go check his Instagram channel. It's really, really good. Can you tell us something about your musical career, how you started?
Well, I started playing drums at a very, very early age, at the age of 2 years old. Probably before that, my mother told me that I would just take out the pots and pans, and she noticed that I had a gift to have rhythm and play drums. So growing up, I grew up playing in church. A lot of people know that. In America, church is very, very a big deal to my background. And my dad is a pianist. My dad plays the piano, and now he plays the gospel organ. He plays organ in church. So growing up, playing with musicians was pretty much the pinnacle of everything that I do now. So playing with my father on the piano or the organ, growing up playing in church. So I would, 2 years old, 3 years old, I was sitting on my uncle's lap, not even being able to hit the bass drum, and I could play the rhythm and the groove. So by age like 4 or 5, when I was just tall enough, like I could sit on the edge of the seat and pretty much keep time and play with musicians. So that's what pretty much got me into knowing what music sounds like, not just listening to radio, but hearing these voices and knowing all different melodic scales and patterns and how different things are placed. So it gives me a real musical ear and a really, really different feeling and different approach into drumming, because I hear it and I could play it with feeling, not just reading it or seeing it. A lot of it comes from the heart. And that's what playing gospel music or just gospel chops in general, it's not just being able to play a whole bunch of stuff. It's how it was heartfelt, or just like you said, like when you play that groove, like your posture and how it is, like that snare on that 2 and 4 and how it sounds, popping the snare, like that's a part of gospel drumming. That's a part of just being a great drummer. Like another drummer that hits the snare drum amazingly is Steve Ferrone.
Yes.
Yes, like the way he pops the snare drum, and it's magnetic, and it's a whole bunch of feeling and heart and power behind it. See, that's like gospel, but not gospel. That's just the feeling and the heart behind it.
Yes.
So that's pretty much what I love about music. It's just having a heart. It's a pulse. It's a language without speaking.
Nice, like that comparison. To make things clear, playing in church in America is something totally different than playing in church over in Europe, of course. I mean, you know, have you ever been in a European church?
Yes, I have.
With the old walls and stuff like that. I mean, if you play the drums there, you do have an echo like 10 seconds long, like something like that, okay?
Yeah.
But every drummer in Europe or all around the world, you can tell, is fascinated by gospel playing. Can you give us an example? Like, I mean, especially like a typical gospel chop fill.
Yeah.
Can you break down one lick, for example, a quite simple one that everybody can follow it?
Cool.
And that would be great if you can demonstrate for us.
So like beginning gospel chop lick would be, like I taught a long time ago, if you follow YouTube, like in my earlier days, one of the first licks would be the 2/2 or 2/3. This is pretty much the introduction into being able to follow chops. And then you could play it in a swing pattern or you could play it in a straightforward 4. So when you play that, that is come across as the double daka dun dun daka dun dun, and you can split it up. And how you split it up, playing it in 3 notes or 2 notes to make it just differentiate, and playing it fast or slow. So that's like a really, really introductory lick into gospel, but it's so wide. 2 or 3 notes, just a double, a single. It could be split up in so many ways. I'm gonna show you again. Just like right there, took the same lick, but played in different patterns across the drum set. It was the same exact thing. How you place it, how you feel it, playing from the heart. If a person's singing, adding to that and just catching that accent with the hi-hat. It's a feeling. It's all like heartfelt, emotional, you know, thinking towards music.
Wow. I mean, what you can definitely tell is like, besides those chops you are playing there, your groove is so tight.
Oh,
you
man.
can definitely feel like when you're playing 2 and 4 with your snare and your hi-hat, sometimes 4 on the floor with the bass drum, it's so locked together. Amazing.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example how you practice that, or did you ever practice that?
Definitely. Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off like that. When you say things, it keys in so fast, and it's just like music. You got to be able to take it as it comes. When that guitar player is playing like that special lick or whatever, you want to be able to catch it. It's just like the bass player playing it, the bass drum playing with that bass player, just that lock, like you said. So I'm locking with what you're saying and want to just answer it so quickly. But yeah. The metronome is your best friend. You have to make the metronome your best friend. And that's how you learn how to lock with music. Now, different music has different genres of music has different settings as a laid back, more different feeling. So if I show you like a more laid back feeling, even though the click may be, get into the pattern where you play it 2 and 4, and you'll feel the lock. And it won't speed up, it'll just still be there. And you don't want to wobble. When you hit the bass drum, you want that to be interlocked with your left hand, depending on the type of music. When you're playing funk music, when you're locking in with that bass player, you want that 2 and 4 to always be solid. You take it and you be like, okay, make it more of a shuffle type of feel. Now you take that same feel and you make it more straightforward to where you feel it like a gospel feel. Also, the difference in gospel music and the difference in all the different styles of music that you always hear is our snare sound. Okay, the approach to the way the snare sounds compared to the way you may tune the snare drum and the way that the gospel drummer may tune the snare drum. You don't really hear this too often. You hear that. You hear a fat pocket, but this, compared to this, 2 different worlds. Yeah, man.
Wow. I mean, stepping some steps further, your musical career, you won the Drum of in 2003,
yeah,
right?
Very, very, very long time ago.
Exactly, it's quite some time. And I mean, you are still in the professional business. How did your career proceed from that championship?
From the championship, it just gave people an insight into my skill level. So it gave the introduction to be able to say that I won a major competition in America that gave me a little bit of notoriety. I think the next thing that pretty much kick-started my career is the simple fact of the same thing that you're on right now, this thing called social media. Learning social media, being a advocate, learning and just knowing where the future is going, you must advance and you must not fall behind in what's going on with everything that's going on. You must know what's going on and not fall short of knowing what's going on.
Right.
It's the next thing that came around right after me winning Guitar Center Drum Off was YouTube. YouTube came out in 2004, 2005. So as soon as I won Guitar Center Drum Off, I came in and I was like, okay, YouTube is going on. That's when Gospel Chops came around and everything started blowing up. Within those 3 years, that's how it started evolving and just taking off to different levels. Now, instead of me just being like, okay, people know me for this, you got to be able to grow in your playing and know where you fit in at. So everybody knew me for playing so many different chops. So now let's take these chops and show people that I could play music. And luckily, I was able to get in a band called Sly and the Family Stone, like one of the biggest bands back in the 70s. You feel me? So I got to play with these legends, and they really taught me like how to like lock in with that good funk feel and play that groove. Can I just show you a little bit real quick?
Sure,
so like,
sure.
yeah, so.
Is it true that you also brought another playback with you?
Ah, I did. I have a few. I have a few.
That would be great to listen to another.
Cool.
Yeah.
Got you.
there's this phrase where people say like, those were enough notes for the next couple of years. But you know what? I could listen to that all day long. How you play this, phenomenal.
Thank you, man.
Phenomenal. Really so tightly locked in, enormous.
Thank you.
You know what? I want to talk about a little bit about the topic you already mentioned, like publish yourself via social media, but also, on the other hand, doing clinics. I mean, you're playing in bands, you're recording, you're playing live, but you're also a very, very good clinician because you know how to talk about those things that you're doing. And you did many, many clinics all around the world. And I'm sure if anyone wants to book you, you are also open for that, right?
Definitely.
So here comes my question. Since 2003, or I mean, even before that, I mean, you are a professional since 20 years plus. How did the business change since those 20 years? Did it even change for you, or how is it different?
The business.
Business side. Yeah.
So your question is, how did the business change? The business has changed so drastically.
Okay.
It's very, very different from nowadays. You have drummers that are getting endorsements because of their social media following. And right now, it's okay. And it's cool. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. But can you really associate yourself with the people? Okay, we're learning how to play drums. Everything is on YouTube nowadays, from 5-stroke rolls to 7-stroke rolls to all the licks that I play broken down. You could go on the site and you could go visualize, see every lick that I just played. And it's right there at your fingertips, okay? But not just at your fingertips. Now, it's about being a musician and being able to feel, can you deal with the person? Can you deal with that guitar player in your band that's having a bad day? Or that lead singer that has the uppity because he's the front man and everybody loves him, but you're just in the back. Can you deal with being the person that has to compress themselves with being in the back and deal with the lead singer being the mess? He's everything, he's big, he's the person that everybody views, but you want to feel your net worth also. You have to remember all of that. When you get on that tour bus and you're sleepy, or you get in that little van and you've just been going all day and you got to go set up your drums, these are different things that a lot of people don't never really get to experience because the business has changed. From Buddy Rich, big band, being in a band with so many people, to nowadays, you can see on stage with only 2 members. I was about to say 3. There's bands that only have a keyboard player that's playing everything and a drummer on the other side, okay? And they're playing with Pro Tools and tracks. We didn't even have Pro Tools and tracks with click tracks. Okay, how is your timing? Can you play with that click? Can you play all of those chops and still be able to land on the one and make it not sound like a computer? There's so much that's changing in drums. And then you went into social media. We're talking about social media, being able to brand yourself. I said earlier, and I'm gonna give you this tidbit. Okay, Michael Jordan, when you see Michael Jordan, you don't think. When I said Michael Jordan, you didn't even think about his basketball playing. You didn't think about how phenomenal he was when he played basketball. When you see Michael Jordan, you seen that Air Jordan symbol, him about to dunk, or you think about his tennis shoe. Okay, that is the slogan, that is the logo of Michael Jordan. This is the logo of Eric Moore. So when you see me, you're gonna know exactly what this was 20 years from now. When you see it, it's always gonna ring a bell in your mind. And that's where the social media comes into part, and being able to brand yourself and just different things like that. It's way bigger, it's way bigger. This a whole new ballpark, it's a whole new world, it's a whole new game to drumming. Gotta get hip.
Yeah. Totally, I totally agree what you're saying. And on the other hand, I mean, just let all you guys know, Eric Moore, he came in like a couple of hours earlier. Like, he's here in our studios for let's say 3 or 4 hours. And he's such a nice and humble guy. I never met him before. I just wrote some emails with him. As I said, the guys from Geva Drums, they brought him over. And what really stands out is his personality. It's also that he is able to communicate in a normal way. I mean, he's stressed. He already did some clinics. He's touring, really busy with all the artists, but he's really open-minded. And when I saw him for the first time, it's like you cannot disconnect with this guy. It's super easy to communicate with you because you are open.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
On the other hand, I mentioned it, the guys from Geva Drums brought you over. You are playing DW drums.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Geva Drums is the distribution for them here all across Europe and many other countries around the world. You are playing a phenomenal drum kit. It's the first time that we are having an acrylic drum kit. I, of course, played and tested different acrylic drum kits. It sounds phenomenal. Why did you choose that one?
Well, for me, I'm a big fan of DW. I own a lot of different drum kits. A big question I always get is, how many drum kits do you own? Like they see them in the background of in my room and in my drum rooms and in all of my studios. So yeah, I own somewhere between like 40 different drum kits. 40, yes, 40. And all of my kits have like 3 or 4 bass drums, 8 through 18-inch floor toms. And this is just, when I sit behind these DW drums in whatever setting, I think woods work different in different rooms. Like a gum maple works good for jazz playing because you could tune the toms up. Or a birch kit has like a really dry feel, like when you hit it, and really the notes aren't long. They don't have a lot of sustain. What I've noticed between these acrylic drums that DW makes now are the tones are very, very punchy, and they fit my music and my style very, very great. Also, as you can see, I have gold chains on, and I'm a little loud and a little flamboyant, so the drums look amazing. Like, you want to be noticed. We're a drummer. We're drummers, okay? And I have a new slang. I have a new saying, and I have a new slogan. Like, we are dope, meaning D-O-P-E. We are drummers of planet Earth, and we all are individuals, and we all have our individuality. But I want to bring it all together, okay? You, me, we're dope. And these drums to me are amazingly dope. Man, get your hands on some of these acrylics. They'll change your life and change your plan and make you feel amazing behind that lead singer, for real.
And can you just give us an example of each playing some simple tom fills, and especially that gong drum, which is only like a 20 by 3 inch, I think. It sounds phenomenal. And just to let everybody know, not only because we mic'd it up like that, but even in the room, it has so much body, but there's no body on that drum.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I talked to the makers, just to give you a little insight. I talked to the makers at DW about how it was. And what gives it that is this steel plating that goes with this, and the maple wood that they use. Like, you can make the drum longer, but because it's so small, like a piccolo, and it's open, it gives it the resonant. So this metal plate being off the side of it gives it a resonant and makes it just sound really fat.
And it's just mounted on a normal tom mount, right?
Oh yeah. Let me give you, I'm gonna play a little open drum solo. Let's just take it from here. Let's see how it goes.
Oh. Yeah, that's truly a benefit if you know so much licks or so many vocabulary that you can express like Eric Moore, then you are fine. It's amazing. Eric, let's talk a little bit about a topic, work-life balance. You are touring all across the world, you're doing clinics, you're of course practicing. Do you, beside all of that, have a hobby?
Oh man!
Or do you try to can you get so focused every time? I think, in my opinion, it's always important that you do have also a side thing where you say, wow, okay, that's something where I can relax. What is your thing that you're doing there?
So my thing that I love to do, and it's all about balance. And what's crazy is every tour is different. Every situation is different. When you play for A-list artists like I am with Eros Ramazzotti, and I have to say it like that because I got to give him the respect that he's due. He's like one of the biggest artists in Europe.
Absolutely.
And we're on tour for the next year. So we go on tour and we get a small break. You maybe get 2 weeks. You're going for 3 months and you get about 14 days, maybe 19 days, but it takes me 2 days to travel home and 2 days to travel back. So if you get 2 weeks off, you still got to be traveling for about 4 days to get where you got to get to. Crazy. So in those 4 days, I'm not playing, I'm not practicing, I don't even get to touch drumsticks. And then I have a day off where I get to hopefully rest and try to catch up on all the sleep that I lost. Then I get to the gig. It's so much that goes into being a professional drummer and traveling. It's a whole nother side behind not getting to touch the drums. So for me, when I'm on tour, I'm playing this certain music every day. And luckily, I get to go do drum clinics and I get to go venture out and do things like this, which is so amazing, and get to go see you guys when I get to do drum clinics. So all those that call me for a drum clinic, thank you so much. I'm very, very appreciative because I get to be me and I get to show you my heart and I get to express me on drums. Yes, I do it in the show, but it's so much better getting to play whatever my mind is thinking and not what the artist always wants. That's a totally another world and a totally different subject. It's something totally different, but it also plays hand in hand between staying motivated and positive in all the things that I do in life. The question was, what do I like to do on my time off? On my time off, I actually love to play drums, but I actually love family as well. So if I'm not spending time with my family, taking my little brothers and my sisters out, enjoying some ice cream, enjoying a movie, enjoying just church, or enjoying some sushi, whatever it can be, I love to do it. We go bowling. I go out and I hang out with my drummer friends. Like when I'm in Los Angeles, which Los Angeles from Stockton, California is about 4 or 5 hours. So take about a 4 or 5 hour drive, take a nice drive up the highway, checking out everything, enjoy life. Like whatever it is that makes you feel joyful, do it and do it as much as possible. I don't care what it is. You got to do what's best for you in the end.
Wow, thank you. And have there ever been influences or drummers that you've been looking up to that influenced your playing? And can you talk a little bit about that, if so?
Oh, of course, of course. Now, even in today's day and age, like I'm at a point now in my life where everything is a positive light. Like no matter what the drummer is doing, you could take something from any little thing. You could take a 3-4-year-old drummer. He could be watching the clip and he could go play. It's a little boy by the name of Baby Boy Drummer that a lot of people know. And this little kid is so phenomenal. From the day he was 1 year old, 2 years old, couldn't even talk, but he could hold sticks. Like that's just motivation to push. Watching kids and people like Little Nick Smith when he was younger, or looking at Little Mike Mitchell. I still call them Little because that's how I remember them. Like they had the little in front of their names. And then you see them today and you're like, oh my God, like this kid that we've known for so long playing soul tone cymbals and all the other stuff, like now they've grown up and they're just maturing and they're just turning into new musical geniuses. And that's all because of the foundation that people like Dennis Chambers and David Garibaldi and Dave Weckl and Billy Cobham all set the milestone. They all, Buddy Rich, they all set this foundation of different drumming that went on Gene Krupa, and the list goes on and on. There's so many greats. So watching these videos back in the day, the VHSs, a lot of you guys don't even know about VHS tapes, for real. But that's what I'm saying. Now you just got YouTube. It's all at the click of a button. The new day and age that we're in is so simple. You could go on this. You have this whole social media platform. Today, I'm giving you so many gems. You're going to be able to go in the archives and go see all of the different things that I played from years and years from now on. Also, now it's transcribed. I didn't have nothing transcribed. I never got to go see what the solo that Buddy Rich played or the Dennis Chambers tribute solo that he played at the Buddy Rich Memorial. Like, so whenever I had to learn a lick, I had to really sit there and study it. I couldn't even slow it down. Do you know anywhere where you could slow down a VHS tape? No, at all. You guys have it so easy. And just like we said in the beginning, how much has social media changed? What has changed in a day? When you speak about it, it's so many nuances, new things and new stuff that's coming out. So all of that inspires me. I gotta stay current. I gotta stay better. I can't be the same Eric that you could go back to and see in Guitar Center Drum Off back in 2003. Then you'll be like, why is he still the same? I can't, like I go back and I go watch videos of one of my friends, Tony Royster, like, oh my God, he's so far in his time at 9 years old, playing underhanded sweeps and all of that. So it's like, where is he gonna go in the 20 years? And he went from to he's light speed now. Oh my God, man, he's so amazing. So it's all about motivation and putting yourself with social media, just having fun and just enjoying life and enjoying what you see. And man, Instagram, thank you. Thank you for me being able to give back to the community and just share my gift and just, you know, keep on giving back to the world of drumming.
Nice. Nice, thank you. I think before we close that lesson, I have to tell you one story that is about Eric. We said, okay, what are we gonna do tonight? And he said, you know what? Marco Minnemann is doing a clinic next to, I think it's a 1 hour drive from here. So he's gonna drive with some guys to this clinic tonight and watch him play. And I think that describes so many things, that he's always open-minded, tries to connect with people, and of course what they are doing, and to stay focused on things like that. Tomorrow we will record several lessons for the Online Lessons archive. So if you're watching that on YouTube, make sure to also visit our website www.onlinelessons.tv, because probably at that time his lesson material will already be up. Thank you, Eric, for being here. It's a true honor having you here in our studios in little beautiful Neustadt at the Wine Street.
Oh, it's so amazing.
It would be great if we could close the whole thing with another song.
I can definitely do that. Can I just tell the fans and everybody something real quick?
Absolutely.
Hey, you guys, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much, man. I hope you appreciate my gift, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Like they said, you can follow me on social media at EricMoore_II, where I'm always dropping new gems and content. Also, I have something very, very special coming out in 2020. When I get off tour with Eros Ramazzotti, I will be opening up my very own drum resort. It's called the Drum Resort in Las Vegas in the United States. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing, where I'm gonna have a big old mansion, and you come into my mansion, into my home, and it's pretty much turned into a drummer's paradise. It's already in the works, so please be sure and be on the lookout for this. I'm so excited. Get to come hang out with me, drum camp. Man, amazing. Wait till you see it. Stay tuned, the Drum Resort.
Perfect. I will be the first person who invites myself to be there.
Oh, you have to come. No, you're definitely getting that.
Wow.
You're getting that. So we're gonna play a song now. We're up and going.
Nice.